Have you ever wondered why your mind sometimes feels like a battlefield, filled with conflicting emotions, irrational thoughts, or why, despite your best efforts, you often find yourself trapped in cycles of stress and dissatisfaction? It's a feeling we all know, a sense that we're being pulled in a million different directions by forces we can't seem to manage. This internal struggle, this constant noise, can leave us feeling drained, powerless, and disconnected from the peace and clarity we so deeply crave. We search for solutions in the external world, hoping that a new job, a new relationship, or a new possession will quiet the storm within, only to find that the battlefield remains. Today, we delve into the fascinating world of psychology through the lens of Stoicism, uncovering 7 shocking psychological facts that might just change the way you see yourself and the world around you. This isn't just about ancient philosophy, it's about practical, actionable wisdom that has been validated by modern science. We're going to bridge the gap between the profound insights of thinkers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca and the psychological truths that govern our daily lives. We will explore how these timeless principles can help us reclaim our inner peace, build unshakable resilience, and truly master our minds in an age of constant distraction and overwhelming pressure. But before we begin, a quick request. Like this video to help spread the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, and if you haven't already, subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any future insights. Your support helps us build a community dedicated to growth, purpose, and conscious living. By sharing this knowledge, we can all contribute to creating a more mindful and resilient world, one insight at a time. Let's embark on this journey together and unlock the secrets to a more intentional and fulfilling life. The first secret, and perhaps the most fundamental, is understanding the illusion of control. We spend so much of our mental and emotional energy trying to manage outcomes that are, in reality, completely beyond our influence. Think about it. We worry about traffic, the weather, what other people think of us, or the global economy. This constant striving to control the uncontrollable is a primary source of our anxiety, frustration, and disappointment. It's like trying to command the tides. It's a futile struggle that only exhausts us and leaves us feeling defeated. The great Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't a statement of resignation, it's a profound declaration of empowerment. The true battlefield isn't out there in the world, it's within our own minds. The Stoics teach us to practice a clear-eyed distinction between what we can control, our thoughts, our judgments, our responses, our actions, and what we cannot. Everything else is external and, ultimately, indifferent to our desires. Think of someone like Albert Einstein. He faced immense professional and political pressures, yet he remained focused on the one thing he could control: his work, his intellectual curiosity, his dedication to unraveling the mysteries of the universe. He couldn't control the political climate of his time or how his theories would be initially received by the scientific community, but he could control his commitment to his principles and his relentless pursuit of knowledge. He poured his energy into his sphere of influence, not into the vast ocean of things he could not change. This practice is what psychologists call an internal locus of control. Studies consistently show that individuals who cultivate this mindset are more resilient, less stressed, and report higher levels of life satisfaction. They don't waste precious energy fighting unwinnable battles. Instead, they channel that energy into productive, meaningful action. When a project at work fails, they don't blame their boss or the market. They ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I respond better next time?" So, the first step to mastering your mind is to consciously let go. Every morning, take a moment to mentally sort the day's potential challenges into 2 columns: things I can control and things I cannot. Resolve to focus all your energy on the first column. When you feel anxiety creeping in about something in the second column, gently remind yourself, this is not mine to control. This simple act of mental sorting is the foundation upon which all other forms of mental mastery are built. It is the key to unlocking a profound sense of peace and inner strength. The second secret lies in understanding the immense power of our perception. We often believe that our emotional responses are directly caused by external events. We think, the traffic jam made me angry, or my boss's criticism made me feel worthless. But Stoicism, supported by modern cognitive psychology, reveals a crucial intermediate step. It's not the event itself, but our interpretation, our perception, of the event that truly shapes our reality and dictates our emotional state. What we see is filtered through the lens of our beliefs, our past experiences, and our judgments. The philosopher Seneca captured this perfectly when he said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." This is a staggering thought. It means that much of our suffering is self-inflicted, born from the stories we tell ourselves about what is happening. Two people can experience the exact same event, a job loss for instance, and have wildly different reactions. One might see it as a catastrophic failure, while the other sees it as an opportunity for a new beginning, a chance to pursue a long-held passion. The event is neutral, the perception is everything. Consider the incredible story of Helen Keller. Rendered blind and deaf at a young age, her external reality was one of profound limitation and darkness. By any objective measure, her circumstances were tragic. Yet through the power of her mind and the reframing of her perception, she did not live a tragic life. She famously said, "Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of the overcoming of it." She chose to perceive her life not through the lens of what she had lost, but through the lens of what she could still achieve, learn, and experience. Her reality was shaped by her indomitable spirit, not her physical limitations. This is the essence of what psychologists call cognitive reframing. It's the conscious act of changing your perspective to see a situation in a different, more empowering light. It's not about toxic positivity or denying reality, it's about finding the constructive viewpoint. When you face a setback, instead of thinking, "This is a disaster," you can train yourself to ask, "What is the lesson here? What opportunity does this challenge present?" This shift doesn't change the external facts, but it fundamentally changes your internal experience and your capacity to respond effectively. To practice this, start by becoming a detective of your own thoughts. When you feel a strong negative emotion, pause and identify the underlying judgment or perception. Is it absolutely true? Is there another way to look at this situation? By questioning your initial interpretations, you create a space between the stimulus and your response. In that space lies your power to choose a perception that serves you, one that builds resilience, fosters growth, and transforms your inner world from a place of suffering into a source of strength. The third Stoic secret for mastering your mind is to recognize and escape the trap of external validation. In our hyper-connected social media-driven world, it has become second nature to measure our worth by external metrics, likes, comments, followers, the opinions of our peers, the approval of our superiors. We outsource our self-esteem, placing it in the hands of others, making it fragile, unstable, and dependent on a constantly shifting landscape of external judgments. This is a recipe for perpetual anxiety. Marcus Aurelius saw this tendency in his own time, astutely observing, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Think about how profound that is. We live inside our own minds 24/7. We know our intentions, our struggles, our triumphs intimately. Yet, we will allow a passing comment from a stranger or a perceived slight from a colleague to completely derail our sense of self-worth. We are giving away our most precious asset, our self-regard, for free. The story of Malala Yousafzai is a powerful modern example of this principle in action. As a young girl advocating for female education in Pakistan, she faced immense opposition, threats, and ultimately, a violent assassination attempt by the Taliban. If her motivation had been external validation, she would have stopped at the first sign of disapproval. She would have silenced herself to gain the approval of those in power. But her drive was internal. It was based on a deeply held conviction, a moral compass that was entirely her own. Her worth was not defined by what her oppressors thought of her, but by the righteousness of her cause. This unwavering internal conviction is what the Stoics called living in accordance with your own nature. It's about cultivating an inner scorecard, not an outer one. It means your sense of accomplishment comes from knowing you acted with integrity, courage, and purpose, regardless of the outcome or the applause. When you tie your happiness to external validation, you are on an emotional roller coaster you don't control. You feel elated when praised and crushed when criticized. But when your validation comes from within, you build a stable, resilient core of self-worth that no one can take away from you. To start freeing yourself from this trap, practice self-validation. At the end of each day, instead of thinking about what others thought of you, reflect on your own actions. Did you live up to your own values? Did you try your best? Did you act with kindness and integrity? Acknowledge your efforts and praise yourself for them. Shift your focus from, what did they think, to what do I think? This internal dialogue builds a foundation of self-respect that is immune to the fickle opinions of the outside world, granting you a profound and lasting sense of freedom. The fourth secret is a stark psychological truth understood deeply by the Stoics. Unchecked negative emotions are not just unpleasant, they are corrosive. They drain our energy, cloud our judgment, and can have a devastating impact on our physical health and our relationships. Emotions like anger, envy, resentment, and fear, when allowed to run rampant, act like a poison in our system. They hijack our rational mind, leading us to say and do things we later regret, damaging trust and pushing away the people we care about. Modern science backs this up. Chronic anger and stress are linked to a host of health problems, from heart disease to a weakened immune system. It's a physical manifestation of a psychological state. Seneca warned against the destructive power of anger in particular, calling it a brief madness. He urged us to see it not as a powerful, righteous force, but as a weakness, a sign that we have surrendered control of our minds to external triggers. He argued that the wisest and strongest individuals are those who can maintain their calm and reason in the face of provocation. Consider the journey of Nelson Mandela. He had every reason to be consumed by hatred and a desire for revenge. Imprisoned for 27 years for fighting against the injustice of apartheid, he endured unimaginable hardship. A lesser person would have emerged from that experience broken, bitter, and filled with rage. Yet Mandela did the opposite. He understood that holding on to anger would only continue his imprisonment, just in a different form. It would poison his soul and prevent him from achieving his ultimate goal, a reconciled and united South Africa. Mandela consciously chose to let go of resentment. He practiced what the Stoics preached, creating a pause between the stimulus and the response. He knew that an immediate, angry reaction would only beget more violence and division. Instead, he responded with grace, forgiveness, and a strategic, rational mind. This wasn't a suppression of emotion but a masterful transmutation of it. He channeled the energy that could have become rage into a powerful force for peace and healing, demonstrating that true strength lies not in the intensity of our anger, but in our ability to master it. To apply this in your life, practice the Stoic pause. When you feel a powerful negative emotion rising, anger, frustration, jealousy, don't act immediately. Don't send that angry text. Don't lash out. Instead, take a deep breath. Step away from the situation if you can. Give yourself a moment, an hour, or even a day to let the initial emotional storm pass. This creates a space for your rational mind to come back online. In that space, you can ask yourself, what is the most constructive, wise, and virtuous way to respond to this? This simple habit can save relationships, protect your health, and preserve your inner peace. The fifth powerful secret, embraced by both ancient Stoics and modern high performers, is the profound influence of our habitual behaviors. We often think of our lives as being shaped by big, dramatic decisions, but the reality is that our character, our success, and our overall well-being are the cumulative result of our small daily habits. As the saying goes, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Our lives are, in essence, the sum of our routines. Marcus Aurelius was keenly aware of this, reminding himself to build a life of virtue through consistent daily practice. He saw each day as a new opportunity to reinforce good habits, the habit of rational thought, the habit of kindness, the habit of focusing on what he could control. He understood that a resilient and tranquil mind wasn't something you simply decided to have one day. It was something you built, brick by brick, through intentional, repeated action. The quality of your habits determines the quality of your life. Look at a modern master of habit, Tim Ferriss. He is famous for deconstructing the habits and routines of world-class performers in every imaginable field. What he consistently finds is that success isn't about some innate genius or a single moment of inspiration. It's about meticulously crafted systems and rituals. These top performers have habits for their mornings, for their work, for their health, and for their recovery. They intentionally design their days to support their goals, removing friction for positive behaviors and adding friction for negative ones. They don't rely on willpower alone, they rely on the power of well-established routines. This is because habits automate behavior, freeing up our precious mental energy. Willpower is a finite resource that gets depleted throughout the day. If you have to consciously decide to go to the gym, to eat a healthy meal, or to meditate every single time, you're likely to fail when your willpower is low. But if these actions are ingrained habits, automatic routines that you perform without much thought, you will execute them consistently, even on days when you don't feel like it. This is how you build unstoppable momentum towards your goals. So, the practical step here is to become a conscious architect of your habits. Start small, don't try to overhaul your entire life overnight. Pick one small positive habit you want to build, like meditating for 5 minutes each morning or reading 10 pages of a book before bed. Attach it to an existing habit, a practice called habit stacking, to make it easier to remember. For example, after I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 5 minutes. Celebrate your consistency, not just the results. Over time, these small daily wins will compound into transformative change, building a life of resilience, purpose, and success by design, not by default. The sixth secret, one that may seem counterintuitive to the stern image of Stoicism, is the critical role of self-compassion. We often believe that being hard on ourselves, practicing harsh self-criticism, is the key to improvement. We think that if we berate ourselves for our mistakes, we will be motivated to do better next time. However, modern psychology and a deeper reading of Stoic texts reveal that the opposite is true. Self-flagellation leads to shame, fear of failure, and emotional burnout, making it harder to learn and grow. The Stoic philosopher Seneca, while advocating for rigorous self-examination, also wrote about the importance of treating oneself with a certain gentleness. He advised his friend Lucilius to be a faithful friend to himself. This implies a relationship with oneself built on support, understanding, and kindness, not just relentless judgment. A true friend doesn't just point out your flaws, they support you when you stumble and encourage you to get back up. The Stoics understood that we are fallible human beings, and that treating our own failures with grace is essential for long-term resilience. Oprah Winfrey's life story is a testament to the power of self-compassion. She has spoken openly about her struggles with her weight, past trauma, and professional setbacks. Early in her career, she could have been paralyzed by self-criticism and the harsh judgments of others. Instead, she cultivated a practice of radical self-acceptance and kindness. She learned to treat herself not as a project to be fixed, but as a person deserving of love and understanding, flaws and all. This self-compassion didn't make her complacent, it gave her the emotional stability and strength to persevere, connect with millions, and build an empire. Psychological research led by Dr. Kristen Neff confirms this. Self-compassion has 3 core components: self-kindness, which is treating yourself as you would a good friend; a sense of common humanity, recognizing that suffering and imperfection are part of the shared human experience; and mindfulness, observing your negative thoughts and emotions without judgment. People who score high in self-compassion are more resilient to stress, have lower levels of anxiety and depression, and are more motivated to improve themselves after a failure. They see mistakes as learning opportunities, not as evidence of their inadequacy. To cultivate self-compassion, start by changing your inner monologue. When you make a mistake, notice the critical voice that arises. Instead of indulging it, consciously replace it with words you would offer a dear friend in the same situation. You might say, "That was a tough situation and you did the best you could. It's okay to feel disappointed, but this doesn't define you. What can we learn from this?" This shift from self-criticism to self-coaching is transformative. It fosters emotional stability and creates the secure inner foundation from which true and lasting growth can occur. The seventh and final Stoic secret to mastering your mind is the transformative power of mindful reflection. In our fast-paced, externally focused lives, we rarely give ourselves the time and space to pause, turn inward, and examine our own thoughts, actions, and experiences with clarity. We rush from one task to the next, one distraction to another, living on a kind of autopilot. This unexamined life, as Socrates warned, is not worth living because it robs us of the opportunity for self-awareness, growth, and intentional living. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations is, in itself, a testament to this practice. It was his personal journal, a tool for daily self-reflection. Each evening he would review his day, not to judge himself harshly, but to learn. He would ask himself, did I act in accordance with my values? Where did I let my perceptions get the better of me? How could I have responded with more wisdom, justice, or courage? This daily practice of contemplation was his training ground for the mind, allowing him to distill wisdom from his experiences and reinforce his philosophical principles. This practice is not exclusive to Stoicism, it's a cornerstone of wisdom traditions worldwide. The Dalai Lama, for example, emphasizes the importance of analytical meditation. This isn't just about emptying the mind, but about using the mind to investigate the nature of reality, our emotions, and our interdependence. He advocates for setting aside time each day to contemplate concepts like compassion or impermanence, allowing for deep insights to arise. This reflective practice is what transforms intellectual knowledge into lived, embodied wisdom. Mindful reflection gives us the perspective we need to break free from reactive patterns. When you consistently review your day, you start to see the triggers that lead to anger, the thought patterns that create anxiety, and the habitual behaviors that hold you back. It's like watching a game tape after a match. You can see your missteps clearly and strategize for a better performance next time. Without this reflection, you are doomed to repeat the same mistakes, trapped in cycles you don't even recognize. Reflection is the key that unlocks the door to conscious change. You can integrate this practice into your life in several ways. The most powerful is journaling, as Marcus Aurelius did. Spend just 10 minutes before bed writing down your reflections on the day. Another method is a daily meditation practice, focusing not just on the breath, but on observing the thoughts that arise without judgment. You can also simply go for a quiet walk, leaving your phone behind, and use the time to contemplate a specific question or challenge in your life. By making mindful reflection a non-negotiable part of your routine, you gain the clarity and insight needed to truly become the master of your mind. By exploring these 7 psychological truths through the lens of Stoicism, we uncover timeless strategies to navigate the modern mind. We've seen that true power doesn't come from controlling the world around us, but from mastering the world within us. It's about shifting our focus, challenging our perceptions, and building our lives on a foundation of internal strength rather than external approval. This ancient wisdom provides a practical and profound roadmap to finding peace and purpose in an often chaotic world. As a recap, the 7 secrets we've unlocked today are: 1. Releasing the illusion of control and focusing only on our responses. 2. Harnessing the power of our perception to shape our reality. 3. Escaping the trap of external validation by building self-worth from within. 4. Managing the corrosive impact of negative emotions through the Stoic pause. 5. Understanding the immense influence of our daily habits. 6. Embracing self-compassion as a tool for resilience. And 7. Committing to the power of mindful reflection for clarity and growth. Together, they form a blueprint for a resilient and meaningful life. These aren't just interesting ideas, they are actionable practices that can fundamentally change your relationship with yourself and the world. If you found this video insightful, please like, subscribe, and join us as we continue exploring the profound intersection between philosophy and psychology. Share in the comments which of these secrets resonated with you the most. Together, let's unlock the power of a resilient, mindful mind.